Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lil Turtle, and today I would like to share with you my Gas Grenade Witch Hunter build guide. This build is capable of clearing all endgame content, the most juiced maps you've ever imagined, as well as max difficulty Pinnacle Bosses. This build is capable of doing it all for a relatively low investment. It doesn't require any crazy uniques, probably about maybe 3 div to get started. You probably do it for 1 div. It's incredibly efficient. It focuses on the ascendancy passive weapon master to allow us to utilize the shield and mace in conjunction with our crossbow to have an insane offensive output with our crossbow and an insane defensive output with our shield and mace. I'm gonna go over some hidden tech such as animation canceling, and also the best part about this build is we're running blink, which allows us to speed clear maps so fast. Yeah, it's amazing. You can see I've got this down to less than a 1-second cooldown. So if that interests you at all, without further ado, we'll get started on the guide here. So I wanted to start out just by showing you some interesting tech that I've discovered in regards to animation canceling grenades into the block skill. So 50% of this build relies on our crossbow. The other 50% relies on our mace and our shield. We're not actually using any skills specific to the mace. We're simply just using block, which I have on my side mouse button so I can pretty much always press it. So the interesting thing about shield block is it allows you to animation cancel your grenade ending lag. It's a little bit buggy, but it's pretty reliable once you get it down. So I just want to demonstrate. This is what a regular uninterrupted gas grenade shot looks like, right? Notice the long ending lag, right? It's slow. I'm shooting and there's a lot of delay between the next shot. Boom, 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 right? The beautiful thing about shield block is it allows us to animation cancel the ending lag of the grenade shot. So watch this. If I use shield right after shooting a grenade, I can immediately cancel the ending lag and I can go straight into a shield block. This is insane. Because in maps, what you can do, you can be running around, and after every single gas grenade shot that you do, you can animation cancel it into a shield block, which will swap your passive tree and the weapon master ascendancy points. It will snapshot the damage from your crossbow delegated skills, and it will give you the benefit of all of these defensive skills from the shield swap. So I'm shooting out my grenade, immediately canceling into a shield block. I'm getting full damage points with with my passives, and then I'm getting full defensive points with my shield. So to further tag onto this, you can also animation cancel any ending lag with the blink passive. So what my maps typically look like are I'm shooting a gas grenade, I'm animation canceling it into a block, and then I'm canceling the slowdown from the block into a blink. So it looks like this. This allows us to quickly and efficiently move through maps at insanely high speeds. What we're doing is we're utilizing the Crest of Adura Jingling Crest Shield, which is going to give you a 50% cooldown recovery rate whenever you're on your swap. So when I swap to the shield after animation canceling, it's going to start immediately cooling off my gas grenade and my blink 50% faster than it would without the shield. And then on top of that, I'm running a mace with mana per enemy killed and life per enemy killed, meaning when I shoot my grenade, it's a little buggy sometimes, but when I shoot my grenade and I swap to my shield, when these grenades blow up and I have my mace out, it's going to immediately recover my entire mana bar and my entire health bar. And my energy shield is going to start recharging insanely fast because I have all of my weapon set points set to faster energy shield recharge time and stun threshold, and it just creates this beautiful synergy of you're getting the damage from the gas grenade that you know and love, but you're getting the near invincibility from just the broken energy shield passives that we're seeing up here in the sorcerer and even in the monk tree to a lesser extent. So just going through the skills that I've allocated kind of in order of importance. I've got our gas grenade here. It's just completely juiced to the tits, as much as you can get. Level 24. I'm running scatter shot, primal armament, heft. I know it says physical damage, but it actually does. Like, look, this is 11,000 if I take heft off. 9,300, so it's an insane damage bonus. I'm pretty sure this applies to your weapon damage before it's converted. We have immolate because we're only doing damage against ignited targets. This is just going to get an insane amount of value. And then this is kind of like a flex pick, the magnified effect. You can swap this out with concentrated effect. You can swap this out with inspiration if you want. Inspiration's not really needed with this build because we're going to be refilling our entire mana bar after each cast with the shield swap that I just mentioned anyway. So I'm basically just running this for all content, and then for bosses I'll swap magnified out for concentrated effect, which I have right here. So I'll just like swap this one and swap it on the bosses. The next most important skill that we're running is blink. This should be taken in conjunction with Grim Feast for your passives. If you can get enough passive spirit on your gear, you can add Blasphemy in with Enfeeble for an extra layer of up close defense. This will be really handy for, like, you know, if you're up teleporting into packs and you're shield blocking, it'll really help reduce the damage a lot because we're not running any armor, barely any evasion. But the blink passives that we're using are Ingenuity. This increases the cooldown rate. This is mandatory. We're running Arcane Tempo for the cast speed. This is mandatory as well because it'll pretty much negate all of the ending lag on the teleport, just allowing us to teleport with no sluggishness. Doesn't feel clunky. We're taking Clarity for the mana regen. This is optional, but I just like it for the quality of life. Taking this, I don't know. I don't even notice or know if it does anything, but these three are the most important. Grim Feast we're taking. I got Precision in there. It's complete. I don't need it because grenades don't use accuracy. It's completely, I just had some extra spirit, but just the base Grim Feast is going to allow you to recover a lot of energy shield, and it's going to allow you to overcap. Like, if you look, I got 4,400. If Grim Feast was fully stacked, I would have like 9,000 energy shield with a 2k life pool. It's going to just allow you to not get one shot by bosses, by pretty much anything. This just keeps you alive, and it's just really quality of life to have in maps. I already talked about Blasphemy. Now the next most important skill is going to be Oil Grenade. We're going to be using this on rare packs and bosses. You're going to one-shot everything with Gas Grenade outside of that. This is just kind of for a damage amp. We're running Maim to slow things down. We're running Fire Exposure, and then we're running increased effect of Fire Exposure just to kind of penetrate some more fire res. Flash Grenade is going to be the next most important skill. This is used to build up stun on bosses. It's kind of nice. Some bosses you can stun pretty easily. This is kind of a get out of jail free card if you teleport into a pack that's too dense and you're overwhelmed. By running fast forward, we can kind of get that to blow up really quickly. Another thing too is it doesn't really matter if you're blinded because you're not evading anything anyway, and accuracy does not affect grenades' area of effect, so it's fine to just be permanently blinded. Artillery Ballista is okay. I used to use it a lot for drawing aggro, but now I just use it for when I'm starting out a boss fight. I'll stack my rage to 30 using the Font of Rage passive, and then I'll get a really powerful opening on a boss that allows me to kind of one-shot some bosses. And, you know, I've got the placement speed here, and then I've got life per second. It's really not a huge deal. Explosive Grenade, I don't even know why I'm running it. I never use it. It's pretty much useless. And then Explosive Shot, same thing. Never use it. I just have it on there. I don't know what else to put. So the most important skills are going to be Gas Grenade, Blink, and Grim Feast. Oil and Flash are really great for bossing, and outside of that it's mostly just focusing on the animation canceling tech and the blinking and managing your blink cooldown, managing your gas grenade cooldown. You can see if I spam a bunch of gas grenades, it just cools down so quickly with this build, and then when I swap to the shield, it cools down even faster. I just have infinite gas grenades. I can't even use all my gas grenades. Like, I can just spam it infinitely in a map. Only need gas grenade. So those are the skills I'm using. Moving on. So moving on, we're going to take a look at the character sheet. Your number one priority here is going to be, first off, just maxing all of your resistances. Don't worry about evasion or armor at all. We're just going to be stacking as much energy shield as we can. And the main thing I would say, the most expensive thing for you is going to be getting a chest piece that has high energy shield on it. This is maybe like 1 to 3 div for a chest like this right now. This in conjunction with the Ancient Aegis installation on your amulet, that's going to give you another 60% energy shield from your equipped body armor. So that's where the majority of my energy shield is coming from here. Aside from that, you're going to need Radiant Grief. It's pretty much necessary for the build to feel good. Otherwise, you're going to need to shoot your dirty explosive grenades to get the ignite or explosive shot. But other than that, my gear isn't even that great. I'm just trying to get some rarity on there and max all my stuff. As long as you have everything maxed and you're stacking as much energy shield as possible, you're going to have a good time. I already talked about the shield with cooldown reduction and the mace with the life and mana per enemy killed. Those are extremely cheap, like 1 exalts for each of them. And then your crossbow, you're just going to want to find the highest possible physical DPS that you can. Don't worry about anything else. Just try and get the highest physical damage that you can. And then as you start to make more money, you can layer in the plus projectile skills or try and get some more DPS. It's nothing too crazy. You can make this build work with a worse crossbow. You're just maybe not going to be able to clear the ultra juiced, crazy delirium maps until you get like a really high 400, 500 DPS crossbow. Alright, moving on to the moment we have all been waiting for, the passive tree. Now, I don't want to make this a 30-minute video, so I am just going to kind of go over the key points here and what I'm doing to make Weapon Master work, because I'm sure nobody has seen this, or very rarely has this been used up until this point. So Weapon Master is amazing. It gives us double the value for our passive points. Basically, if you look here, you can see that the green lines are the ones allocated to my shield, and then the red lines here are the ones allocated to my crossbow. The golden line is the one allocated to both. What I'm doing is I'm basically just taking the passive tree down, and I'm grabbing as much cooldown reduction and area of effect as possible. I'm taking the 3 nodes here, which are really important for weapon swap speed. You need these to do the shield canceling tech quickly. I'm taking some move speed, doesn't really matter too much. I'm coming all the way down for both trees. I'm taking up to here on the all attributes star at the bottom. This allows us to deal with the incredibly high intellect requirement for the energy shield chest, as well as the strength and dex requirement for the crossbow. This will just take care of it for you. It'll also allow you to run skills like blink and blasphemy, and this gives you access to pretty much any skill in the game to take this. And then on my crossbow, I took the damage one, which just gives you a little bit extra damage. The way it works is when you shoot an ability with your crossbow, it will snapshot all of the damage nodes that you are taking. So as you can see, for my crossbow, I've branched off and I've taken, the standard CDR area of effect for attacks nodes. I've taken the fire, penetration, damage to ignited targets. This is all just on my weapon set 1 here. And when you shoot a grenade, it will snapshot all this damage, and even if you switch to the shield, this will still do the full damage as when you shot the grenade, you know what I'm saying? So basically, I'm just taking any damage-related nodes, I'm devoting them to weapon set 1, right? So these do extra damage, anything that does extra damage. Up here, got all the extra damage with two-handed, I've got the extra attack damage, area effect, all of that is just purely devoted to my crossbow set. And then as we climb up the side here, we're going to be trying to make our way to this node if possible. This gives you max energy shield. This gives you max energy shield. So taking these on your shared passives is pretty great because it beefs up your shield. Like I got 3k shield right now. But all of these green points, this is where it gets really good. When you swap to your shield, you're going to benefit from all of these nodes that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to access. such as faster start of energy shield recharging, such as stun threshold based on energy shield, such as increased recharge rate. So when I'm shooting and swapping to my my shield, my energy shield is going to start recharging extremely fast and extremely quickly because of all of these points that I have on my swap. So the reason why Weapon Master is insane is it basically like gives you another 24 passive points. There's no real other way to look at it. Like technically it's the same amount, but you're just, because you're swapping so frequently, like I'm mostly in shield, right? I'm only swapping to crossbow to do the damage, and then I'm going on my shield. So I'm getting full value of this entire tree pretty much all the time. So that's kind of what we're working with here. Feel free to play around. If you can do this better than me, then feel free. There's a lot of room for creativity here, and I'm sure that you could create an even better build using this tech. Besides that, we're taking the Zealous Inquisition passive because it gives us the area of effect. It's really nice. And then also I'm just doing a lot of breach right now, and this just deletes breach. Like this will chain in high density, and it'll just wipe the entire map 2 screens away. Like it's just completely broken. If I was bossing, maybe I would take this, but probably don't even care. And then I'm taking the Decimating Strike and the Culling Strike and the damage against low health enemies. There's just, I feel like there's a lot of value here. You could, of course, swap this out if you're doing bossing for this tree. Could be a good idea. You're not going to get any value from Sork Ward because you only have like a tiny little bit of evasion and armor. So Sork Ward is completely wasted on this. So anyways, that is my passives. So now I'm going to run a map, and I'm just going to kind of share with you my thought process as we go through the map. You can see it's like a pretty juiced T15. T15 to 18 doesn't really feel that much different to me. This build just deletes everything. This map's got 72% more monster life, so that might be annoying, but with Zealous Inquisition, it does damage based on the max life of the enemies that you're killing. So we're going to jump in here. Hopefully we can get a breach done. And yeah, so basically it's like I said earlier, we're just shooting our gas grenade. We're immediately animation canceling with the block. You can even just tap the block. You don't have to like hold the block. You can just tap it. And then we're just going to be teleporting forward just to clear as fast as possible. So you can see the tankiness. You can see my mana bar just instantly refills when I swap to the shield because of the mana on kill on the mace. See, I've got no mana. Shoot. Full mana. Boom. It's beautiful. Didn't even have to use a mana pot. If I'm ever in trouble, I can always shoot out some flashbang grenades. We just got so much movement speed and so much blink speed and so much cooldown reduction. I can just sit here and block and tank entire packs, no problem. Shoot the gas grenade, hold block. We won't take any damage, I promise. And then of course we're also just running over the corpses to pick up the souls for Grim Feast, which is then giving us even more energy shield. You can see in the bottom left there, I've got like 6,000 energy shield right now. I just love having Blink on such a low cooldown. After playing with Blink, I just couldn't imagine ever going back, Like I come from Diablo, Path, PoE 1, last Epoch. Just having that movement is just crucial to me. This feels super fast and super smooth. There's no reason to struggle. You just gotta use that shield swap.
Not yet.
Once you get in range of the enemy, they'll ignite because of your Radiant Grief helmet, and then as long as they're ignited, you can just kind of shoot a gas grenade and keep moving. Like, this doesn't feel like there's 72% more health. It just feels so easy, you know? The only time that this ever really struggles is in Breach, when you're just like, if you're holding down your shield block and you get completely surrounded by Breach enemies, they can stun you through your stun threshold. So it's kind of dangerous to hold down block in a Breach. But outside of that, it's like pretty comfortable. You can just blink away if you're ever feeling like you're in danger. Take this. Zealous Inquisition is the big white ring that you're seeing here, and it's just get a chain and just delete everything. And meanwhile, I'm just gas grenade, block, gas grenade, block, gas grenade, tap block, you know. Maybe I'll throw an oil grenade on a, you know, if I see like a rare. In general, just not really afraid to blink in or to play super aggressive. That's kind of a scary mob, but Zealous Inquisition, baby, like, it's so fucking good. That's why Witch Hunter is so fucking good. Just delete the whole screen and 2 screens over. You should probably be focusing on the hands a little more, but yeah, that's the gist, you know. Now I just wanted to quickly show you like an example of a boss. I'm currently in a tier 16 map right now, and I've got, if you look at my Atlas tree, I've got a lot of boss difficulty. I guess this would be 1, 2, 3, 4 to boss difficulty. Keep in mind, if you're not running this tree, pretty much one-shot T15, 16 bosses like in under 1 second, but when you add the difficulty, it actually makes it quite difficult. So this is going to be a good example of what a boss fight will look like. And the reason why I think this build really shines on boss fights is because you're able to actually tank a hit, which you can't really do with a pure DPS build. Like, you know what I mean? It might be a little bit slower for me to kill this guy, right? Like, I'm only doing like maybe like 200,000 a second, right? But I have the assurance that I'm actually going to be able to do it without getting one taps. Like, Blink is insanely strong on bossing. It's borderline broken because, you know, if he's winding up, I can just blink on the other side of him. I can just bait his attack and blink on the other side of him. And it's the same with Pinnacle Bosses. It's the same with anything. And if you want, you can hold block too. You can just straight up hold block, and then he'll turn red and it'll make a sound if it's an unblockable ability, right? Unblockable, teleport on the other side of him. I can block that one. I can block that one. I can block that one, right? So you can block projectiles from bosses. You can block pretty much everything from bosses. So I'm pretty much indestructible. Like, he's not going to kill me. There's nothing he could do to one-shot me. I'd have to play insanely lazy to get one shot. And that's why this build shines so much, because I was playing pure DPS, I was playing glass cannon, I was doing that. It was so frustrating getting to a citadel and just getting one shot. With energy shield, it just fixes that whole thing. Like, with the shield tech, with the shield, you're just so tanky. You could bend these bosses over, you know what I mean? Like, there's no boss that I can't kill. I'll just do this exact same shit. Just back and forth, right? Stun, back and forth. My mana just like sustains itself. It's no problem. But anyways, I just wanted to show you an example of like a high tier boss fight and like my thought process behind that. Anyways, that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to say about the build. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching. I'm sorry that it went so long. I really tried to like keep it short, but there's just a lot to say. I've been working on this build now for a total of 8 days in game. So I've done a lot of testing and trial and error and failure to get to this point, but it's at the point now where I just wanted to share it with everybody. I think it runs really smooth, and I think it can be done on a pretty low investment. Like, it doesn't take much to get the ball rolling. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you're playing Gas Grenade and you're getting a little burnt out, consider implementing the shield swap tech, because it is actually a lot of fun, and Gas Grenade can be pushed to the ultra end game, and you can clear all of the content with Gas Grenade. I truly think that it's the best Witch Hunter build, but maybe Galvanic Shot's pretty good too. I'm not too sure. I haven't really seen a lot of what other people are doing. I've been mostly focusing on my character and my build. So anyways, I really appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Peace.